A Catholic leader in the very thick of this issue is the Archbishop of San Antonio, Gustavo García-Siller. His archdiocese includes the town of Uvalde, Texas, where the elementary school mass shooting took the lives of 19 innocent children and their 2 teachers just 3 weeks ago. Archbishop García-Siller, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
You're welcome.
You immediately went into the community right after the shooting, speaking with all those impacted and offering a special mass for the victims the next day. What were the days that followed like for you? How did the community come together and how did the church offer support?
I was celebrating Mass the very first day of the shootings. And since then, I was there a few days and then I returned for different ways of being present to the people. The whole community came together in many different ways. This is a very small town, 15,000 people. They know one another. The pastor of the parish is a priest born and raised in Uvalde. So he knew the names and the families. So it was, in that sense, was easy to connect with the people and with the authorities.
And of course, we hear the stories of the students who were murdered and they were eulogized in the press, but the teachers suffered too. You presided over the funeral of Irma Garcia, a teacher killed in the Uvalde shooting. Her husband died 2 days later of a tragic heart attack. How did you provide pastoral care to those who loved them?
Well, the care on my part was the presence and with gestures. It is very difficult to console, in the case of the children, to console their families. There are no words. They don't know also what to say. In the case of the teacher and her husband, the same story with a little bit of something that I would like to add. In the case of the teacher and her husband, they had 4 children, so I was able to speak with them in a room, and again, very briefly, my way of helping was just to say, do you have talked to each other about what has been happening? And they say, no. So when they show me that, I just say, well, what about you, the oldest boy? What do you like to say to your sister? And it was like an hour and a half of dialogue among them, between themselves. The only thing I did at the end, after an hour and a half, was to say the Our Father, and that was it. And then we joined the 50 other members of the family who were in the house, the extended family. So it has been presence, gestures, love, care, prayers, the celebration of Mass every day, especially during that first week. And then visiting also we opened 2 centers for counseling, one led by Catholic Charities and the other by Catholic Schools San Antonio. So we have been there every day to provide accompaniment, and I went several times to visit those 2 sites and to see how they were doing. And many people went to those 2 sites to receive help, especially the Center for Children and Family Members or Teachers was conducted by Catholic Schools office from San Antonio, using the Catholic school that we have in Uvalde. And Catholic Charities, besides counseling to the wider audience, they were providing other services. During those days, it just happened that it was planned to open a new site in an hour and a half away from Uvalde, run by Catholic Charities. So we were able to expand other services like lawyers, food, clothing, many other ways of providing support to the people.
Yes.
So that has been the priest of the deanery. There are about 12 priests, all of them, and the permanent deacons have been on the site, taking turns about also listening to people and their stories, and just being there like we believe Jesus would.
This has recently affected Catholic school enrollment for you. Why? What kind of security measures have been put in place since the shooting at Catholic schools?
Okay, in our Catholic school, immediately the pastor and a team from my office began to search how to put in place a better security system for the safety of the children. And I mean, this situation happened towards the end of the school year. So we have the summer, and we are going to improve tremendously, and not only the school, but the parish too.
And you've seen an uptick in enrollment.
Yes, that's true too. And that, I mean, it's maybe it's a normal thing to expect, because all those children who were going to the school where the shooting took place, they need to find their places. And also, many of them are because they know our ethics and our consistent ethics in our Catholic education.
Your brother bishops have been very outspoken about the recent shootings around the country. Bishop Daniel Flores of Brownsville, Texas, took to Twitter with some strongly worded comments after the shooting, saying, "Don't tell me that guns aren't the problem, people are. I'm sick of hearing it." And he continued with the sacralized death instruments, that they're surprised that death uses them. You live in Texas. There's a very strong gun culture there. Is Bishop Flores' comment a popular opinion, or are you personally and him getting pushback?
Well, I think we have been outspoken because we have seen the crisis in our faces. Also, the bishop from El Paso, who has experienced the shootings about a year ago, if you recall. Guns are very sacred here in this state. And it's true that people who are with mental illness or people who are just enraged, they can do those things too. But the common factor is that it's very easy access to guns. And the call is to put the person first. Always people are more important than guns. And if we do not support the human development of the people that we are serving, why do we expect that they are going to do when they have such an easy access to guns?
What does that look like, Archbishop Gustavo, these solutions that are both appropriate and possible for the personal human development? Is what Congress is doing in terms of limiting access to guns enough for you, or is there a bigger picture here that we're missing?
Oh, I think we are missing the larger picture. Every step is a gain, but is very little, really. They still having dialogues about it. But it's painful to see how there is not a real conviction, that with guns, we are not going to defend each other appropriately, and we are going to, with guns, we are going to delay the growth of people in what means to develop their minds, their thinking, and their convictions, even their consciences.
True human flourishing.
That's right.
This is
and then the spiritual matter, I mean, the spiritual dimension, because when we say that we respect life, and that Texas is fairly to say Christian, well, let's follow Jesus Christ.
Well, we will be praying for them, and we're praying for you, Archbishop. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.